Yesterday, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi apparently had a half-hour or so call. I still think they're pretty far apart, but the idea that they're finally talking again is probably good news, right?
Yeah, definitely. Now that the conventions are behind us and you've got 62 days to the election, there's no question that right after Labor Day, I believe they've probably got about 10 days to 2 weeks of getting this deal together. I think it's imperative, and some of the reasons that Frank Lund spoke of, the closeness of this election, is motivating both sides. Both sides need to do something. Obviously, the economy and the people who are really hurting need relief, whether it's the cities or states, blue or red, who have been impacted by this pandemic. So I think the motivation is there with election, as I say, only 62 days away. So they've got to act relatively quickly in September, right after Labor Day.
They have to act quickly in September, right after Labor Day. But if the administration is still talking about a $1.3 billion plan and Nancy Pelosi in the House is talking about a $2.2 billion plan, how does that play out? Especially when some of the things you just mentioned, like cities and states getting additional money, I don't think that rates high, at least with some of the Republicans we've spoken with.
Well, some of them. But you also, this pandemic has affected red and blue states, obviously, and localities within those states. So I think there's a motivation there. I think the president has a tremendous motivation to have checks delivered to people sometime in October with his name on the check, as happened in the spring. I think that's a big motivator. And I think the Democrats see real pain out there in some states that they have a big influence in, and state and local governments that have real needs based upon the pandemic. But the reduction in taxes in these states and cities is really almost across the board, blue or red, rural or urban. Cities and states have been pretty well impacted by the slowdown on the economy, and especially the sales tax, real estate taxes, things like that, that have really been impacted as unemployment has gone up, and we've seen the impacts of this. So I think there's a motivation. There's nothing like an election to motivate a deal. And that's all this is. Yeah. If Nancy, the Republicans are at 1.2 and she's at 2.2 or something, there's a deal to be made there. No question in my mind.